Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And today's class is the weekend workout, or really any day of the week. But all you need is your body weight and a little bit of space. We'll get started with a light warm-up. We'll progress our crawls and finish with our handstands. This is our 6th class this semester, so we've been working on those handstand skills for the past couple weeks. Hopefully you've been following along. If not, you can find everything in the playlist archive. Let's get started.
And we'll be starting by heading to the fairground or exploring the head, the neck, and the rib cage as some theme park inspired rides. But first, at that head neck, casually do this lateral flexion ear to shoulder. Then return to middle and repeat the other side. Then do front flexion or looking down towards sternum, and then pulling down on the neck to help support, gently look up. Return the head to the horizon. Repeat those same actions to the rib cage. For that, I do like hands across body or shoulder blades retraction as you do a casual lateral flexion, back to middle. Same thing, to soften the side we're bending to make room for the rib cage. That's left and right, and now we'll go front and back. Forward flexion, same thing with the neck, pull down on those abdominals as we look to go extension shape up, head reset to the middle. Now at the head, or rather the neck, but looking like it's the head, push forward. The merry-go-round. From forward, we'll roll around that circle shape from the front, side, back, side, front. Pull it back in. If you went clockwise, let's switch that direction. So we'll go forward and now to the other side. Around and back, side, front, and all the way back around in the middle. Let's replicate that same shape through the rib cage. Shoulders retraction. The extension of the T-spine is heart or sternum forward. And from there, it's a slide to the side, pull ourselves around. We have a super stable core and trying to get that nice supple rib cage here. We're just about 3/4 down, back to the front, pull things back into the middle and switch your direction. Heart forward, T-spine extension. I'll be sliding to my left here and pulling around. Using those abdominals, visualize those abdominals here as you reach back to the front and then all the way back into the middle. Let's take a quick detour to the shoulder blades and then one more time to the theme park before we hand it to the carnival master there, Lauren. Carnies. Nice. In our split stance now, find a nice balanced place for you. We could do it from lunging, we could do it from seated, many places here, but starting with a stiff arm. Elevate the shoulder. That will be a very useful place for our handstand in a moment here. But right now, pull that armpit low and take that arm towards overhead. Allow it to go where the shoulder says it's okay. And for me, that's a little bit further away from the ear than what I see on Lauren. Listen and feel for your groove. Extension on the shoulder is that position Lauren's at right there, looking with the arm behind, and then return the hand to the hip. Elevate the shoulder, but then depress or pull down and extend the shoulder to the back. We're staying square through the body, and then we'll open up, turning palm or blood donation to ceiling, and now find those lats, 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 as we bring the arm back overhead and all the way back down to the hip. How did that feel? If that was fairly restricted or not so cool to go overhead, handstands might not be your vibe, but stick around, we have alternatives. Elevate the shoulder once, and then depress or pull down that shoulder blade. Then keeping the arm straight, reach it towards your safe overhead. Is the elbow straight as we then turn in on the shoulder, reaching towards the back, and then extension on shoulders, those positions out the back where Lauren is right now, and then flexion shoulder, so many words means bring your arm forward. Then depress that shoulder blade as reaching down and back first, keep the elbow straight, turn out of that shoulder, that external rotation, and bring the arm back towards the ear, and then a straight arm all the way back down to the hip. One more carnival ride for me here, and this is the Ferris wheel. Maybe switch up your stance, just some variation, and now with your nose on the wall in front of you, think about drawing a circle, and the same thing through the rib cage next. So at the head neck here, pull down, then slide to a side, and lift up and over, and now one more time, that quarter circle, back to the middle. Move the head, but not the neck, as we reach up and over, and all the way back down and around. Let's do that one more time. Reach one side, up and over and down and middle and switch and up and around and middle. Now it's a little more obvious with with the rib cage, the stability of the core, the mobility of that cage. Shoulders back. Let's pull down and go to one side. And lift up, but not to lose those abs, so always keep tension. And again, pull down on those abs and pull across. Let's switch the direction, so we're going down and over and up, but we could still take that punch and pull down and middle. And one more time to the side. Pull down to go up. Slide to that one side and pull us back and around. And final one here, pull up, breathe or talk and pull yourself back to middle. Carnival rides done. Now what's next?
Oh, let's warm up those hip sockets a little bit here. So we'll stand up tall with our feet in parallel, and then we'll take a leg in front. And we'll rotate it open from the butt cheek, showing the inseam forward, and bring it underneath. And we'll repeat on the other side. Leg forward, rotate open, underneath. Make sure you're comfortable-ish there. Your feet are in line with your knees. And we'll transfer weight over to one leg, pointing the other leg out to the front. Next here, keeping our bowl of punch nice and level, which is your hips. We'll turn the leg into internal rotation, hiding the inseam, and then we'll turn it open from the butt cheek, showing the inseam. Let's do that again. Internally rotate, hide, and then externally rotate, show. Keeping that inseam forward and the leg nice and straight, draw a little semicircle, quarter circle to the side. Repeat the same thing here. Hips stay stationary, leg turns in, leg turns open. Do that one last time. Leg turns in, leg turns open. We'll flex that foot, pulling the foot to the shin. Keep the knee nice and straight as it returns underneath. Transfer your weight and we'll repeat on the other side. Other leg points to the front. We'll turn the leg in and turn it open. And turn it in and turn it open. And then send the leg to the side, keeping the hips forward. As we do these next two turn-ins on outs on the side, we're making sure that action is coming from our butt, not our ankle. One more time, turn open, flex the foot, straight leg under. Give that a little shake and wiggle. We'll warm up those feet as we make our way to the floor for some core. We'll send our knees towards over our toes, gently sitting our hips a little bit back, allowing the femurs to shift backwards and forwards, but getting those toes heavy, heavy, heavy. Now stay here, but try to lift your toes. Now push your toes down again, try to sink a little lower. Try to lift your toes. Push your toes down, try to sink a little lower, try to lift your toes. Now toes will stay heavy, but heels will lift. We'll go soft landing on the floor, extending hips, pointing toes, sitting down. We'll warm up those wrists before we do all of our handstand things. And before we put those hands down straight, let's actually flip them 180 degrees to have our fingers pointed towards us and our palms slowly come down to the floor. Now, as we're here, all your fingers are heavy on the floor. Shrug your shoulder up. Shoulders, oh my goodness, my plurals. Pull your shoulders down. Keeping those fingers and palms heavy on the floor and your shoulders down so your lats are engaged. Lightly sit back. Might not be far, might get a little further each time. Then let's use our fingers to push ourselves forward. Let's try that again. We'll gently rock back, keeping the shoulders down and the spine extended, and then we'll use our fingers to press ourselves forward. This time as we rock back, we're going to add a bend to the elbow, and then we'll peel the palms away and peel the fingers away, giving that a little shake out. We'll come to nice fists here, making our fists to knuckles 1 and 2, shoulders down. One at a time, we're rolling over the back of the hand. As we do that, our palm is opening up towards the sky. The elbow pit's trying to rotate forward, the shoulders staying down. We'll push the knuckles into the floor, maintaining a straight elbow as we press with strength back up. Repeat second side. Open back of hand. Shoulder stays out of your ear. Elbow pit rotates forward. Push the knuckles down to return back up. One more time on each. Taking your time, feeling that length and stretch through the front or the fuzzy part of the forearm, but then using that part to contract to bring it back up to your start position. Last time on the other side as we rotate open, keep the shoulder packed, and then press down to come up. Let's just flip our hands and put them down nice and flat on the floor in regular style. Rotate the elbow pits forward, shoulders down. We can now hopefully have a little more room in those wrists as we shift our weight forward and back, and maybe even a little side to side as we test those waters for our weight moving about in our handstand. We'll press the floor away, take some seconds off wrist by doing a hollow core exercise, and then we'll come back to our first crawl. So for our hollow exercise, we're lying on our back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, palms up at our side. First thing we do is we keep our little mouse house in the back of our spine alive this whole time, and we lift our head and shoulders off the floor. So we did that by bringing our ribs to our hips and not flexing on our spine. Either we stay here or we lift our knees off the floor. Either we stay here or we straighten one leg, or we straighten both. And we stay here or we bring our arms overhead like we're in our handstand. And we're going to hold this for another 10 Mississippis. Our toes are pointed, our legs are nice and straight, are tight together as if I could roll you over like a log for 5. Breathe underneath, 3, 2, everything pulls to center. Take a rest off. We'll flip over to our first little plank inchworm crawl, because we gotta get those hammies a little bit livened up here.
Feel that too.
Yeah, so let's get into our plank first. Hands under shoulders, knees lift, hips, shoulders out of your ears. Pull the floor together for 5, 4, tight leg tension, 3, 2, hips lift, hands stay planted, feet walk towards hands, feet walk towards hands. That's kind of what they sound like this morning. Then we'll peel our hands off the floor and walk forward into our plank again. This time as we create that tension, let's pull right hand to left hip and left hand to right hip for 4, 3, 2, and then lift the hips and walk the feet in. Maybe they get a little bit closer this time. They've changed sounds, and we'll walk ourselves out one last time into that plank position, and we'll pull our hands to our knees without moving in parallel, and then we'll pull in the X pattern and parallel and X pattern, and then lift the hips for the last time. Walk the feet in, this time as tight as you can get them. Take a second, drive those femur heads towards the ceiling, then push the floor away, tuck your chin, and slowly stack yourself up to tall. Give that a little shake.
Shake it out. And a little break off those hands and more attention onto those hips. Lauren had us do that squat in parallel, so let's just open up our stance in that classic way to a fairly narrow stance for first position squat here. Let's pull ourselves down, creating that diamond shape. Are your knees reaching to the back wall? Are your hips slightly anterior tipped, of course, but reaching towards the ground? And from there, extend those hips all the way through to tall. Repeat again on that flat foot. Knees reaching towards the back from the external rotating big glutes in the back. And then big glutes in the back, they also help extend and push those hips through. It's just one more repetition like that, but this time, once you maximize the depth you can achieve on those flat feet, let the heels lift up, but keep those ankle medial malleolus bones here pointing forward, and hold. When we stand up, we're pressing the heels to the floor and then further pressing the hips on forward. Open up to a wider stance and repeat that again. Pulling down into flat feet for your first one, and personalize the squat depth as much as the squat stance and push those hips all the way through to tall. It's one more time. We're going to spend a little bit more time down there, as this time pull that heel off the floor. 3, 2, 1, flat foot. Then lift the other one. 3, 2, 1, flat foot. Think about getting lower and repeat. Heel lift, adductor load. Woo! Same thing other side. Breathe. Flat feet, and then push those feet away. Extend the hips through. Together, shake, and animal exhibit, zoo exhibit number 2 is?
Well, we want to get into our handstands today, so it's actually not going to be a zoo exhibit.
Sweet.
It's going to be kick-ups.
Awesome.
Okay. If you still wanted a zoo exhibit, though, it could be that bear crawl that we've been practicing the past couple weeks, or even holding that plank position. Right now, we're going to start with our tripod entry. So we'll do that in the I go, you go fashion, where one of us will go and the other person will watch. That means take a break in between. Hands on the floor, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, nice firm grip. Start with little air, just little kick-ups Oh, get those legs ready to kick up. Get those hands ready to take some weight. Get your head ready to be upside down. And as we progress, we're alternating or changing legs after a couple there, getting towards that upside down position. And even if it's just a millisecond off the floor, progress.
That was 3 and 3 for me. I did my same side switch. And often Lauren switches, am I gonna be right here? Whoop, little baby switches. Taking the time. As Lauren warmed up the fingers, heavy in the ground, it's called a handstand, so prioritize the hands and the core of that hollow hold. Go into it with that rib cage compressed and embrace a nice little scissor switch when you can. I'm gonna try to do what Lauren did right there this time.
All right, so one more time in that tripod approach to our handstand here with those hands already planted on the floor. Make sure you shift that weight over your hands so your shoulders are stacked. And the goal here is to get the hips on top of the shoulders. Breathe, take your time, don't do a crazy amount, and then press up to tall.
No crazy amounts, just fun times and fun moves. Avoid the hips opening or rotating. So I think about when on the takeoff, I try to get my back trailing leg to the outside of my plant leg. That might confuse things, and that's okay, but work on those simple techniques to refine your handstand. One amazing move to rule them all, handstands. Then it's squat time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and we've been working on that pistol squat or that single leg squat. Let's just break down those variations to start as well here. So pull up an ankle, so we're on single foot, knees pointing forward. From there, we'll go knee over toe. Hips travel. Okay.
Gazoon tight.
Okay, bless you. Hips here. Now, as we can see, Lauren's hip is over the foot. Now, can we sit back just that little bit, and then from that position, extend the hip through. Let's repeat that one more time. Make your first movement straight down. When we're out of room down there, then we can pull that femur head in, tipping our hips to cow, and then extending the hip all the way through. Stand on the other leg, switch. The hip flexion, meaning the up on this side, helps us get lower with stability on the other. So knee over toe, keep the elevated leg flexed on the hip. When you're out of room, pull that femur head back to get lower or deeper, and then extend the hip all the way through to tall. Repeating one more time, hips go down over the foot to start, and then to get lower, we need to pull back, work on the balance, of course, heavy toes, hips through, tall, handstand variation entry number 2.
So for this one, we'll get into that step in entry. That's where we start with 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, arm overhead, and in that hollow position we practiced in the beginning of today's practice, lying down the floor on our back. We're getting to just off the floor to start, alternating that kickoff leg. As the hands land, think about absorbing the floor through the hands. So fingers, then the palms land. Try not to smash on the floor here. To stand up, you're pushing the floor away. To come back up to our standing position.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'm gonna save some reps there. That was 2 and 2 on each side. And here Lauren goes as well. As we can see, Lauren had that awesome hollow hold. We have a toe point out front. And the rib cage again is compressed on the hips to promote the hollow shape and not the banana. If you want bananas, watch the Savannah bananas. That's a good time, but right now we're hollowing out. Awesome, great shape, Lauren. Saving reps, second set, right?
Second set. So to go into this, really think when those arms are overhead, the cage is down. Next, when you're reaching towards the floor or going towards the floor, you're thinking about that up and over. We're trying not to attack the floor at that 45-degree angle because you'll never get stacked. So up and over a little fence to get your shoulders on top of your hands, your hips on top of your shoulders, and ultimately your feet on top of all of those things. You're breathing as you go, pushing the floor away, ending up to tall every time.
Performance enhancing tips all over the place here today. And that includes perhaps tucking in a shirt and pointing the toes and straightening the knees and breathing and always having fun and making sure that each rep you're feeling stronger and more aware. And if our shoulders or our necks or our backs are saying no thank you, that just means you get to have your coffee early today and watch us or switch the channel. But hopefully don't. And if you are about to switch because you're finished, like, subscribe, share, and
do some squats.
Do some squats or lay there instead. That has been handstand entries, and as Lauren said there, squat time. Let's pull up that single leg, But this time, straighten that leg out front. Get to the low position, hips traveling over the foot, and then pull that femur head back in to get lower and extend all the way through. Let's just reset that leg and alternate left and rights here. So same thing other side, leg out front, hike the hip here to stay nice and low, and pull that femur head back to get amazingly low, and then extend the hip through and return to tall stand. One more each side, and Lauren's going all the way, so I think I need to try to do the same thing. We're having our leg out front. We're taking our time going down, pulling back, yep, and finishing out nice and tall. Return under. Go to the place of safe return for you. I might have to fall on my butt on this one as I jinx myself, but I'm really trying hard not to.
Just don't.
Don't. Just don't.
Just don't.
It's that simple. Just do it and just don't.
All right. Let's do one fun thing because it's our last week for this semester before we do our ultimate challenge today. And let's visit the tuck handstand here.
Ooh.
We haven't done this in a while. So it starts with 2 hands on the floor and it's a 2-foot takeoff here. What we're trying to do is get our butt stacked over but maintain the tuck position. And ideally that tuck is fairly tight to the body versus extending out. It's hard. You're balancing. You're finding a new center of gravity or a new balance point because your knees are staying bent versus stacking on top. So practice a couple. Breathe. It also takes a lot more power to get up there. So
Sure
less
does.
is more for this one.
Sure does. And the fear factor presents itself here too. So perhaps doing that against the wall can give us a little safe out here.
Or just don't jump as much.
Or don't jump as much. There we go. Awesome tuck hold, Lauren. So trying to keep the heels close to the buttocks in that knee flexion and the knees close to the chest in our hip flexion. Our instinct, nice hold, nice hold. Our instincts are to stretch out. Avoid those instincts right now and try to maintain nice and tucked.
One more time of that tuck move here as we come down, and I like to do like 3 or 4 of these versus 4 to 6 of the other ones. So we're just trying to stay tight as we go up to that tuck position, soft landing. And if you're just getting into this, you're just trying to find out how much power do I need to get towards upside down. Breathing 1 or so more times and then soft landing to push away.
Whew,
Nice.
Nice work. That's a surprise move today, and I like it. I like the variation, the specialized skills here. Focus on the handstand, and you can definitely add some diverse approaches into it. Lauren's hands are heavy. We're tucked. We're hollowed. I was having a hard time breathing the move, but making sure you can breathe, it gives you some confidence to do it again. It's one more time on that squat, Lauren, and just one each leg. The simple variation, leg under the hip. The extended task, leg out front. And I'm actually going to do the hard side first.
What are we doing?
Single leg squat.
Oh, a pistol. Okay.
One pistol. Let's do it. Take that breath in. Pull yourself down with control. Nice. Often, that second one might be a little bit stronger, a little more familiar. Leg out front, and again. Down. And up. Finish up. Nice and tall. That's it for the squats. What's our big finishing move here, Lauren, for semester 4? 3. Join us for semester
3,
4.
week 6, the last minute of class. Let's put 1 minute on the clock and work on that wrist endurance. We've been building it over the past couple of weeks. So we have a minute of trying to stay on our hands, whether that's in the upside down, in a plank position, in a bear crawl, in any of the other crawls we've explored the past couple of weeks. Let's try that for time. So 1 minute here. We could climb the wall if you wanted to. Whatever it is, get yourself organized, get ready, and we'll go in 5 seconds. 5-ish.
3,
3,
2,
and then here we go.
Oh, I need one more entry. Oh, I think those
Just don't fall towards me.
Oh, I won't.
We have about 15 seconds left on those hands. Oh, 5, 3.
Knowing the time
2,
is sometimes a kiss of death on that sometimes.
No, come on.
Those tucks.
1 minute is a long time to be on those hands. So hopefully they're feeling good, feeling like work.
Yeah.
Sometimes a minute looks great. Sometimes it looks greatly messy, but you did it. So thanks for joining us this semester. Like Ian said, we start our next semester next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We take a week off.
Yep.
Everybody wants a week rest.
And a long weekend here.
That's right. And we're in summer. So we're into our summer workout routine. So join us on YouTube. And if you want something and we're not live, remember there's tons of videos in those archived playlists.
And if you live locally, today is a downtown event. And if you think you can beat Lauren or me or us in a handstand challenge for chocolate or coffee, come on down, 20 Douglas Street in Guelph. That's where we'll be until 3 p.m. unless it rains the way Lauren hopes it does. So we can go home and have naps and do kind of nothing on our day off. But that we also don't hope happens because it's fun to meet you. So until the next time, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, take care.
Stay strong.
And let's train soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.